Hey everybody, Steve Prasbrowski here. Welcome to tip number 32 in the series 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam. So let's get rolling here. As a reminder, my website, code3firetraining.com, has a lot of great free information on there. So check it out if you get a chance. And also, these tips are based on my 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam book, currently available through Fire Engineering Books and Videos. So very honored to be a part of that team in the family. So thank you. All right, in tip number 31, we discussed finding mentors within your own fire department. That was obviously, to me, a no-brainer. Now, time to build your network a little bit. As I branch out a little bit, tip number 32 discusses in the book, find your mentors in other fire departments. Now, if you've been following along, if you've read the book, you've had a chance to see that besides all the awesome artwork from Paul Combs within the book that he allowed me to use, I've also got about 37 of my different friends and mentors of my own, from other fire departments, different ranks, retired, active duty, that helped with voices of experience. So I obviously wrote 101 tips for the book, but again, I had a number of folks that I'm fortunate to call friends and mentors, write a page or two or three. And the voice of experience for tip number 32 is by my friend Captain Rami Duckworth out from Ridgefield, Connecticut Fire Department. Rami's a great dude, and offers some great words of wisdom related to mentors and other fire departments. Now, a lot of times it's very easy to say, I hear this from some people, they say, well, I've been on the job 10 years. How do I find mentors in other fire departments? Obviously, your own department is pretty obvious because you work for your own department. But here's the challenge, for if you're one of those individuals that's an 8 to 8 out the gate individual, meaning you just show up basically for your 24-hour shift and then you check out for your 4 day or whatever else, which there's nothing wrong with that, and you don't have any friends or you don't get involved with the department, you don't get involved off duty, and you just go home and, off the grid for 4 days or whatever your days off are, yeah, you're going to struggle with finding mentors. So I want to offer some suggestions that should be no brainers by now, but how do you find mentors in other fire departments? Start taking classes, start taking classes, there's a lot of great opportunities, whether they're state certified classes, regional classes, seminars, workshops, attend conferences. I mean, FDIC every year in Indianapolis is an awesome start, 30,000 of your closest friends. There's also lots of other conferences out there, Firehouse Expo out in Columbus, regional conferences, state conferences, like I mentioned, state certified classes, regional workshops. A lot of them are out there. I mean, in person, not to mention online. Online makes it a little more challenging to get to meet people, but in person stuff, yeah, get out there. You're going to not just meet instructors that are active duty, retired duty, that can provide a lot of great, valuable information and are probably more than happy to serve as a mentor in some capacity, but also your fellow students. I mean, if you take a class with, say, 20 other people, I'll just use a simple number of class, you got 20 other people, you got potentially 20 other mentors. I mean, they're granted, they're mostly probably all folks that are at the same rank as you are, or maybe a rank below, rank above. But again, they can be mentors. And if nothing else, friends, acquaintances, they may feed you toward other mentors because you get to know these folks that you're in class with at lunchtime, have them coffee with, maybe connect with them on social media after the fact. And then they may lead you down the path of, hey, do you know so-and-so? Yeah, I'm working with so-and-so. He's helping me, coach me through the process. Well, I really don't know. Well, come along with me sometime or I'll connect you with them. So start taking classes. And again, I mentioned a conference. When you go to one of the major fire conferences like FDIC or Firehouse Expo, and you're at a conference with 30,000 plus people like in Indianapolis, which I'm totally looking forward to every April, it's like game on because everybody, fire chiefs down to firefighter, are out there and more than happy to share a beer with you or grab lunch or whatever else. You're going to bump into these folks, during the conference, after the conference. It's a great way to start building your relationships and finding your mentors in other departments. You don't ask people, hey, will you be my mentor? It doesn't work that way. But again, it's about building relationships, and hopefully over time, those will organically grow into good, solid mentoring relationships. Social media I touched on. Social media is an awesome resource. I know it can be very challenging and problematic for some, I'll just leave it that way, that do stupid shit on social media. But in a positive way, social media makes it extremely easy to connect with people, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then once you're connected, you may not have had normally their email address or their cell phone, but if you're connected on social media and LinkedIn, another good resource, you probably have access now to direct message them and then just sort of reach out. Hey, Chief so-and-so, you may not know. I have people do this all the time. Chief Brzezbrowski or Steve or Chief, you don't know me, but we're connected on social media. We're on LinkedIn. We follow each other, blah, blah, blah. Can I reach out to you sometime to give you a call? Or I see you're going to be teaching at FDIC. Can we maybe meet up for coffee? I got some questions I'd like to ask you about, getting prepared for promotion, or I got some leadership questions. I got some firehouse leadership challenges, whatever it is. Usually most times like, yeah, sure, come on here. And most of the time I'll say, hey, here's my cell phone, here's my email address, call me, or direct them to my website because it's on there too. But social media makes it really easy to connect with people. And before you say, well, I don't know, I don't want to bother them, I don't want to bug them. If you've got someone that's actively in the fire service, and I can only speak for the fire service, but writing articles, you know, and or teaching in the fire service, odds are they're more than happy to connect with you. I mean, again, who knows how much time they have, but you know what? They're more than probably happy to at least connect with you, maybe answer a question, or maybe even, if they like you and there's a connection, build a relationship. I mean, when I was putting this book together, and I was tasked by Fire Engineering Books and Videos to maybe find some voices of experience, I had a lot of good names in mind of friends of mine, but there was also a lot of the people that wrote the voice of experience that I'd never met before, but they were mentors of mine because I enjoyed reading their articles or enjoyed hearing them speak, maybe a casual relationship just of, hey, how you doing, Chief, or so-and-so. But I reached out to a lot of these folks that I didn't know, and it's like, hey, you don't know me, or I don't think you know me. We're connected on social media. Would you be interested in writing a chapter in my book, or chapter, a page or two, just to help support it? And maybe they knew of me on social media and felt, okay, this nice guy's not just a flake or something. But you know what? Social media has made it very easy to connect with others and find those mentors. Another good example is, or another good resource is friends of friends or family, because again, friends of friends, acquaintances, family members, you start meeting people and you start talking about your aspirations. It's just amazing how small the world it is, especially in the fire service. That, you know, when I was testing a couple of years ago for a fire chief's vacancy, there was a fire chief position a couple cities away that I was testing for, and I was doing my homework, doing my research. I was reaching out to retired folks that I knew on the department, reaching out to active duty folks, talking to different people, trying to learn as much as I can about the department, their challenges, their struggles, their good things, what they would expect of me coming in. It was amazing of how many people were so assisting. And when I say assisting, meaning I reached out to friends of mine saying, hey, I'm testing for your fire chief position, blah, blah. A lot of good people that I knew, sometimes even just casually, or maybe not even at all, but they felt maybe that I had potential. They would hey, is there anyone else that you want me to connect you with? And there was a couple names that I really didn't know that well, but I wanted to be connected to. And just people I knew were like, oh yeah, Steve, here, I'll get you their cell phone number. I'll have them give you a call or whatever else. And it's like, thank you. I appreciate that. It's just amazing how the connection tree can go if you're a good person, if you're not an asshole, and if you demonstrate potential and that you actually care. I mean, just there's a lot of great ways to find your mentors out there just to be able to assist you, and you never know where it leads. And it really comes down to all you have to do is ask. What's the worst that you can do? Say no. I mean, back to when I was putting this book together, there was a very, very seasoned, experienced fire chief that I wanted to have write a couple pages from the fire chief's perspective. What are you looking for in a promoted candidate? But I reached out. I really didn't know the guy, but I reached out. We're connected on social media. You can say no, you can say yes, but here's what I'm asking of you. I'm putting this book together. Fire Engineering is publishing it. Would you be willing to write a page or two on what the fire chief's perspective is in looking for candidates? And he was very upfront. He's like, Steve, he goes, I love what you're doing out there. You're doing a great job and everything else. But he goes, I am so busy right now. And he wasn't just saying it. He was giving me some great examples. He goes, I'm going through some tough times at home right now. I'm going through some tough times in the job right now, fighting the city manager, the city council. this is just not a good time. He goes, if it was a year from now or a year, behind us, I'd probably say yes, but check back in a couple of years if you're doing something similar. And I'm like, hey, thank you. I didn't expect you to say yes, so thank you. At least I appreciate that. But he goes, hey, let's keep in touch over the years, and hopefully we'll get a chance to grab a beer or something at one of the conferences. But I just don't have the time to write a page or two. And you may think it's just a page or two, but hey, not everyone is good at writing. Not everyone is good at speaking. So that may be a high stressful item. So you know what? I thanked him for a time, and we still see each other, and we still, on occasion, maybe once or twice a year. I mean, obviously pre-COVID and post-COVID, but you know, hey, what's the worst they could do? Say no. Think of it that way. So be positive. You never know what you may get. So as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. Feel free to reach out and connect with me on social media. So until the next time, be safe and take care, everybody.